www.freddystore.com. That's right, freddystore.com. www.freddystore.com. They have a wide selection of new and classic hard-to-find CD titles from all your favorite Freddie Records artists. Now, I know you can download. They know you can download. But here's the deal. They've got hard-to-find titles on CD, digitally remastered. If you're old school like me, ain't afraid to admit it. I know I'm old. You're talking about Ramon Ayala y sus Bravos del Norte. You can download or you get the hard copy for your collection. I'm just saying, the catalog that Freddie has is amazing. From way back when, as I mentioned, Ramon Ayala, Little Joe, even Freddie Martinez. Y'all better recognize, better have Freddie, Jimmy Gonzalez, Grupo Más, Los Palominos, Jay Perez, Elida Reina, Signo, Los Chamacos, Lucky Joe, Sólido, La Fiebre, and many more. You want to talk about merchandise? Talk about merch? Forget about it. All I know is that I want that cap, the 50-year anniversary cap, and that throwback t-shirt that says Freddie. Established 1969? Hell yeah. They have a lot more stuff to check out. Just go online. One more time. www.freddystore.com. Today's guest is Stefani Montiel. We had a blast. Grammy nominee, Tejano Music Award winner. But we'll talk to her in a minute. What up, what up, what up? I'm AC Cruz. This is my podcast. How you guys been? Been a minute, hasn't it? About 2 months? Usually I take a month and a half off, but yeah, it's been 2 months. Somebody sent me an email saying, what the hell, man? This is the longest vacay you ever taken, man. Thanks for noticing, Frank D. Chill away. The reason I've been out for 2 extra weeks is because some of the guests wanted to come in and some would want to do it remotely. I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and just do this remotely. Nobody coming in, nobody going out. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to take care of myself, and I hope you're doing the same. I'm not going to harp on wash your hands, and although that is important, man, wash your hands, wear the damn mask already. I know it's a pain in the ass, but listen, I didn't want to wear it, but hey, I was in the house for about 3.5 months, then I had to go to the doctor's office, excuse me, because I needed to get my cortisone shot, steroid shot, if you will, for my knee. Anyway, so, like I said, I know it's a pain in the ass, but we got to do it. You got to do it. We got to do it, man. It's that plain and simple. You see, I'm harping. I said I wouldn't. On with the podcast. Check it in. Do your thing. I feel a scratch coming on.
Stefani Montiel, this Grammy nominee and Tejano Music Award winner, has toured all over the globe, including Korea, Japan, Guam, and Monterrey. She also toured all over the U.S., Alaska, with stops from Michigan and Florida to Washington State. But Texas is always where her heart is. Get ready to go behind the mic with the one and only and really funny Stefani Montiel.
Let me see if I get this right and tell me how I do. 'Cause you're my angel baby. 'Cause you're my angel baby. Does that sound familiar to you?
Well, let me say something. This song sounds familiar, but I think you're talking about another song that I recorded.
I was talking about Slamma Jamma. Does it now?
Well, okay, so the name of the song is correct, but it's actually a different song that I recorded, which I believe is what you're talking about.
Let me tell you how I got this to get started here.
Okay.
Max Baca was here, and he says, oh, yeah, I've known Stephanie since she was a little girl, man. And she got up and sang with her dad's group, Slamma Jamma, and she would do Angel Baby. Is that not right?
Yes, but the angel, well, I guess it's a completely different song. It's just like heaven being here with you.
Oh.
Like an angel. That one. What is it? Angel baby, my angel baby.
Oh, my bad.
There's actually 2 songs that, with the same name. So I knew exactly what you were talking about. It was just a different song, same name.
I'm being stupid. So listen, it's great to see you.
Thank you.
And we have never met.
Oh my gosh, I promise, because we used to go to the Valley a lot when I first started singing.
Yeah.
And I know that you were, I can't recall the station, but Sony used to take us down there all the time to do, our promotions. And I swear we've met. I'm not completely sure, but I mean, like for some reason, I remember. I mean, obviously, everyone knows your name, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just from years of knowing who you were and what you do. Yeah. Maybe that's what it is.
Thank you, but enough about me. Let's talk about you. What do you think about me?
Well, I think you're amazing.
That's an old joke. Have you heard that before? That old joke? It goes like this. Enough about me. Let's talk about you. What do you think about me?
I love it. I'm going to have to use it.
Yeah, anyway. What are you reaching for? Is that a margarita?
It was my glasses.
Okay.
My glasses.
I was told that you drink margaritas every now and then.
I like to drink all kinds of stuff. I'm not a hard liquor kind of girl.
Neither am I. But I was told that we would be having some refreshments.
What? Oh, okay. Well, I'm like, I need to clap my hands around. How to go.
Steph, I want to thank you for taking the time to do this podcast with me.
This is awesome. I like it so far.
So you're going to kick off the season 7 of the Cruise Control podcast.
Nice.
On. Anyway, first of all, I got to tell you right now, you must be sitting on top of the world because you are kicking ass. You got the #1 song in the nation, Extraño tu Amor.
Yes, thank you so much. It's a huge, just an honor, really. I mean, I'm so blessed. We haven't released an album in almost 2 years. And this song we actually released last December. And I didn't think it would last this long. A single sometimes, it doesn't, you kind of get it out there and it has its moment and it's gone. And this one is, 6 months later, it's been #1 twice. It kind of, it went to #1 in May, I believe.
Yeah.
And then it kind of like came down the charts, went a little bit, lower in the countdown. And 2 weeks ago, it went back up to #1. I mean, it's been climbing back up and then it went to #1.
It's 3 weeks now, right? 3 weeks?
Well, I think it's 2.
Another song is song number 5 on the charts. You and Savannah V.
Yes, I love this song. It's called Vive. There was a situation that happened back last year again in November of last year. Mm-hmm. My daughter said some things that she, felt very strongly about, and they kind of got out and were sent to different people and put on radio stations, websites. And, it's crazy because I got a lot of backlash, me personally, from it. And, the thing is, people have to understand that, our children are their own people. They're grown adults. They can say what they want. And in this day and age, they do. They take to social media. They don't care who sees it. They don't care what they say. That's just their feelings. And that's just how, the younger generation kind of just voices their opinion. So the thing is, we all, we can't control our children 100%. We can always give them good advice. We can tell them what they want, what we want them to do. And of course, how to stay out of trouble. And ultimately, they have they're their own person and they do have their own opinion and they're going to voice it if they want to. So the song Vive, actually, Gabriel had written it for Savannah. And when I heard it, it was talking about, her daughter or a daughter. And it was so powerful. And it really just kind of hit me in that moment when we were kind of going through all of this stuff. Gabriel says, well, would you want to jump on the song with Savannah and make it a duet? And I was like, I would love to. And Savannah was like ecstatic. She started crying and she was so happy. But I just think the message of the song is so powerful. And, any one of us can relate to, our children slipping up sometimes or making a bad decision or whatever it may be. But this song talks about how, they need to live their life and they need to, always speak up for themselves and stay true to themselves and what they believe in and not to be afraid of, saying what you feel, because there's so many times that I think young people don't say things because they're afraid. They're afraid to speak up. They're afraid to offend someone. And sometimes it is a good thing. And so this song was just perfect. It was perfect for the moment and it was perfect. So we both had our daughters in the video and it's just taken off. It's been doing really, really good. It's also, again, on the countdown, like you mentioned, number 5. And we hope that it'll get up to #1 because it's a beautiful.
Can you imagine if you had song #1 and #2? That would be awesome.
It would be awesome. Really cool. Yes.
Hey, real quick. A lot of people know you that don't know where you're from, and that is from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Is that correct?
That's correct. I was born and raised in Albuquerque, grew up there, and I got to Texas as soon as I can, or as soon as I could.
Yeah. What age did you leave?
I left like right after high school, because I loved Tejano music. I grew up on it. My father was a musician, and he was in Slamma Jamma. He had another band called Los Chavos. He was in another band called Purple Haze, Brown Sugar.
I love it. You being from Albuquerque, Did you ever watch the series Breaking Bad?
Oh, yeah.
Do you recognize some of the places they showed in Breaking Bad?
Yeah, absolutely. It's all of the locations. I mean, it's crazy to sit there. And it's so funny because my dad never watched Breaking Bad, but he got into it like a couple of months ago. And like he said, he just couldn't stop watching it. He was like, it was so nostalgic to like see all of the places in Albuquerque and the restaurants. And he just, so many things just, you recognize where you grew up, obviously.
So did you ever run into Heisenberg?
No, hombre, like that was after I left already. But it's really cool. I love the series.
Getting back to the charts, this is not the first time that you've been on the charts. You did with La Calma, which I thought was phenomenal.
Hey Calma. Yeah, that was an awesome jam.
Do it again. Wait. Give me a countdown and do it. 1.
Okay. 2, 3. Hey Calma.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, it was a cool jam. I love it. It never gets old. I love that song so much, and it's so much fun. And Leo was awesome to work with. All the guys from La Calma, we go way back. They're my compadres already. Like we always have such a blast with those guys. And the song was Leo's. It was all his idea. We were at a Christmas party, and he kept singing the song, and he's like, "We got to record this song." And I didn't really, I had heard the song, but I wasn't real familiar with it lyrically. So he was like already singing all the lyrics and stuff. And I was just trying to kind of like jump in where I kind of knew the song. And so everyone at the Christmas party was like, "Man, you guys sound great together. Y'all should record it." And so from December, I think it took us maybe about 6 months until we recorded it. And we got it out, got the video out, and it was just climbing the charts like crazy. Made it to number 1.
It was like 4 or 5 weeks. Number 1.
And it was still like on the charts, I guess, up until maybe about 3-4 weeks ago. So it did really, really well for us.
You're no stranger to the charts.
Well, thank you. It means a lot. It really, really does. And I, we love what we do. And Gabe is such an amazing producer, and he really, really thinks about everything that he produces. It's not like he doesn't just throw something out just to have something out there. A lot of planning and a lot of hard work goes into it. And, I'm so thankful for that because, sometimes I see artists, kind of putting out music just all the time. And sometimes I feel like it kind of sounds the same, and it's a lot of the same. And so we take a lot of time in between our projects to really make sure that it's something that you haven't heard before, and make sure that it's not, the same old thing, and that we bring something new and something creative and something out of the box. Thankfully, these songs that we have been releasing have stayed on the charts for, a while, and they've kind of carried us over. So it's time for us to release new music, and I think that we're ready to come out with some amazing stuff.
So let me ask you a question. If you can remember, I'm not asking you to rack your brain, but what was the first single that you released with Sony Discos? Or did you have a label before Sony?
I did. I was actually signed with Capital EMI before Sony.
Did not know that.
Yeah, and I was actually still living in New Mexico. That's why I moved over here, because once I got signed, they, of course, wanted me here to do promotion. But prior to that, when I recorded those 2 singles, I was still living in New Mexico, and I had signed with Capitol, and they recorded me. I came to Lake Jackson, and I recorded with Alex Montes there in Lake Jackson.
Oh, Alejandro Montalegre.
That's the guy.
The reason I know that because I lived in Freeport.
Did you really?
Right down the street from Lake Jackson. Yeah. And my dad used to do bailes or dances at Bobby Joe's, was the dance hall. And off to the right was his studio.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. And I spent a lot of time there because, my parents would come with me, and we would actually make it like a family trip because my brothers and sisters, I'm the oldest of my siblings. So we would bring the whole family and kind of make a little vacation out of it.
Awesome.
And we spent a lot of time there in Lake Jackson, Freeport area. I was always recording there.
So what was the first big smash?
So those 2 singles, one was called, I believe, Tú y Nadie Más was the first one, and then El Primer Beso was the second. And we released those 2 just as radio singles. They weren't actually ever released on an album, for me anyway. But then when I decided, after that, Sony, I met the people from Sony, and in between that time, when I was kind of moving over here, trying to get my career started and get a band and everything, I received a letter in the mail from Capital EMI, and it said that they had dropped me. And I was like, oh my gosh, like it was just kind of like, what? I just moved here, you know, and I'm like, what am I going to do now?
How do they word that?
Oh my God. No, it wasn't even, it was just, it wasn't like that. It was just that, that they had made some changes, that the label was, you know, I don't remember a specific, you know, how it was worded specifically.
Yeah.
But in so many words that they had dropped me. But then I got a call from Bob Griever, and Bob Griever was actually the one that signed me. And he was like, oh no, you know, Stephanie, it was a mistake. And he says, you know, we don't want to let you go. We want you to re-sign. We're going to send you a new contract. So, you know, just hang on. We're going to get this sorted out. Well, in the meantime, like I said, I had met some of the people from Sony because I was out here, you know, doing promotion. I was doing different kinds of showcases and things like that.
Yeah.
And so once Sony heard that I had been dropped, Sony like immediately, and I don't even know how, they found out who my attorney was. They contacted him directly, made an offer, and yeah, my attorney was like, hey, like this is like a huge deal. Like this is like a really big contract.
What is the first single you did with Sony that took you over and beyond?
Well, this is kind of funny because the first single that actually that really like kind of got me out there and really, you know, was a hit for me was Celos. But we released No Te Voy a Enamorar first. That was our first single, and it was like a pop song. I had Mario Lopez in the video with me. It was crazy, and that was Sony's dream.
Wait. AC later?
That's the one.
Get out of here.
Yeah, we were friends. My promoter was actually really good friends with him and his family. We would hang out. He would always come to San Antonio, and he was always doing a lot of promotion for his show. You know, like he still comes to San Antonio a lot. Texas is one of his places that he, you know, loves to come and promote and spend time. So we became real good friends with him, his family, his mom. And he was like, so when are you going to use me in your video? And I was just like, really? Like you would do that? And so we just made it happen. And we actually had to record the video 2 times because the first time that we recorded the video, the film crew loaded the film in backwards. Those pros. Anyway.
So anyway, you did the pop song and you went ahead and went with Celos. Took off like wildfire, no?
That one just, I mean, it took off. It was just like, after that song, I was everywhere. I was doing shows with everyone. And, you know, like I was saying, Sony's dream for me was actually not to stay in Tejano. They signed me out of Miami. Sony Miami and then through New York. So it really wasn't even through the Texas branch of Sony Discos. That's actually another thing. I actually got passed on by Sony. There was a gentleman from San Antonio, and he was the head of the label at the time. And he told Sony that, you know, that they didn't need any more artists, that they were going to go ahead and pass on me. Well, the people from Miami and New York actually went above his head. Well, because they were higher than him anyway.
Yeah.
But they signed me, you know, and they were like, we want her not only to do Tejano, but we want her to do international because we feel that she can, you know, she can do that. So I started doing shows with Ricky Martin. Like all the salseros, like all of those, like more like international pop artists. Yeah. I was being flown to Miami, to New York, to Chicago, to LA. And I was doing all of these shows out there. Of course, I was still doing Tejano, but I would be flown out for, you know, several different, I guess, like big showcases and events. I did a show with Ricky Martin in Vegas at the Treasure Island. It was just crazy. I mean, like I went from like 0 to 100, and it was like I was constantly just everywhere. And then like we stayed with Sony for a few years, and everything was doing great. We were, you know, doing a lot of different projects with, you know, other Tejano artists. I recorded with Ram and, you know, several other artists. And then Sony kind of went under as they decided not to have a Tejano division anymore. And that was when it was just kind of like everything kind of came to a halt. And we were like, okay, now what are we going to do?
And what did you do?
You know, after I came into Tejano, like in, I think it was 93, something like that is when I started recording.
Yeah.
And so I guess around 96 is when, 96, 97 is when everything kind of started to slow down with Sony, and they kind of started pumping the brakes on everything that they were doing. And then I also got pregnant. I got pregnant with my daughter, Ilea. And Gabe and I started seeing each other probably 3 years before that. And he was in the band. He was part of my band.
I wanted to ask you, how did you guys meet?
We met through a mutual friend, Val Maltos, who's an incredible sax player. He used to play sax with Jay Perez. We were just mutual friends, and he called me up one day. He says, I have this kid that, he's really good. He plays every instrument. He's like, I think, he'd be a good fit for your band. Because I was looking for like younger kids, like, some people with, a lot of energy and just ready to like put on a show. Because that's what I was all about. I've always loved to dance on stage. I love to put on a show. And so Val brought him over to our house. In walks this kid with his head was all shaved on the bottom, and he had this super like slick back ponytail with like, it was like long, like a, I don't know what you would call that hairstyle, but very like just cool, real chill. And he came in, we talked. My dad was like, "Oh, he seems like he could be a great addition to the band. If he can't play keys, he'll play drums. If he can't play drums, he'll play guitar. If he can't play guitar, we'll put him on bass." So his first job was actually supposed to be our bajo player. And he showed up to the first gig late, and he forgot his bajo. So,
I see. Not making any good impressions.
Right? We were like, okay, dude. So we're like on stage, and he's walking in, and he kind of like looking at us like he didn't know what to do.
Que Miguel. ¿Qué voy a hacer con el chihuahua?
I know. But he's so awesome. He really is.
So what point in time did you say, you know what? I like this guy, and I'm going to marry this guy?
It wasn't right away, that's for sure. No, because I was mad at him because he didn't have a car. He lived in Corpus at the time, and he was trying to get a gig here in San Antonio. So we told him, we want you as part of the band. So he moved over here and was living with his aunt. But he didn't have a car. I mean, I think he was like 16, something like that, 16 or 17. I'm a little bit older than Gabriel. So like I
That's
had
all right.
not by much, but
I told Elida, you're a cradle robber.
Yeah, did you know that they met through us, actually?
No, please tell us.
Lalo used to be my drummer when we did the Las Tres Divas tour.
Oh, Lalo that's right. She did tell us that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, they met on the tour and,
So then, I love it. So then, Gabriel, you were mad at him, but yet he won you over. Who said, I love you first?
Oh, gosh, I think it was kind of a mutual thing. Because we used to spend a lot of time together. Again, I said he didn't have a car, so I would have to pick him up and to take him to practice or to the studio or whatever, and then we'd stay at the studio till 3-4 in the morning. We would we'd be me and him and the guys in the band. We'd be like listening to the songs after the studio in the car. We'd be jamming and stuff. So then I'd have to take him home, and it just got to be like. It was cool when you have a connection with someone, and it's not just about, you think they're good looking or you have fun around them. It was not just that. It was the music, and it was, the songwriting, and it was the passion that we had for what we loved, what was, just embedded in our soul and our DNA. And, it was just, we connected not just on, a personal level, but really just musically. It was like we just got one another.
The reason why I ask these questions is because I'm going to ask Gabriel later on when I do my session with him the answers to these questions, okay? So, but you better not tell him that I asked you these questions because I want him to answer.
Okay, I hope he gets them right.
Where was your first kiss?
Lubbock, Texas.
How did that happen?
We were there for a gig. And no, I joke around because I always say like we were sitting on like the balcony because it was in a hotel and they had like several floors. It was like I think like one of those, I don't know, embassy suites, So we were just sitting in like in the hallway, and we were kind of like looking down and we just, I don't know, it was just kind of like just a mutual thing. It wasn't really like a thought about thing, but that was our first kiss. But I always joke because I tell people, I'm like, yeah, he asked if he could kiss me on the veranda, and I told him no, on the lips is just fine. Because we love the movie Los Tres Amigos. So that was one of our little jokes.
Oh my goodness. That's good. That's good. I like that. I'm going to use that one. No on the lips.
On the lips is fine.
Oh, that's funny. That is classic. That's classic. You finished with Sony, and then after you had your baby, where did you go?
After we had Ilea, that was when I released Porque Soy Mujer. And that was another song. It was just a really big smash.
Now, what label was that with?
That was still with Sony. I was finishing out like the end of my contract with them. We were already working on Dulce Sensación. And so we released that. And right after that is when we left, or when Sony like kind of did away with the Tejano label. Yeah. So after that, we released Taken on the World. And that was, Gabe and I said, we've got to do something. So let's create our own label. And we did. We called it World Records. And and it was really, it was awesome. Like it really was, because that was, I think, the first time that I felt like I could do whatever I wanted. And I didn't have to, okay it with someone, or I wasn't trying to kind of fit into the mold of what Tejano was. And I never really did, because I really love, kind of thinking outside the box and really doing music that is not already there. I want to do something that hasn't been created yet, and something like a new fresh sound and a new take on what Tejano is. And that's just been me from the beginning. Like I said, like my first Tejano release wasn't even a Tejano song. It was a pop song. It was it was kind of just like a pop jam.
You started your own label, but when did what's it called, B&B or B&G, the record label, when did you sign on with these guys?
Yeah, that didn't come till way later. Gabe and I had our label for many years. I think 2000, when we had the label, we released Taken on the World. We received both a Grammy nomination and a Latin Grammy nomination for that album, which was like, it was like, we couldn't believe it. We were freaked out because, we were an independent label. Yeah. And at that time, it was still basically like run by major labels. There was still, Capitol was still around, BMG was around, Aristo was around. And for our album to get in there and as an independent, and we got nominations for both of them, we were just ecstatic because, we didn't know how to run a label. That was just, we were just doing out of necessity, and because, we had to. We released several albums on our own, and then we released 2 albums with VMB music group. And gosh, I think I don't even remember what year it was, but we released 2 albums with them, over the past maybe 4 years. And the first one, oh gosh, I can't even remember which is the first one.
That's all right. That's all right. But you were no longer with them.
No, correct. Yeah, we're again independent.
Are you going back to world music?
Yeah, we're back with, and we haven't released anything yet, but yeah, we left VMB in December, and we just decided that it was time, it was time to move on and get back to what the freedom that we were used to, again, because I just don't like being put in a box. I don't like when I'm told that I need to try to chase someone else's sound or something that's popular at the moment. That's never been me. It's never going to be me. And I just I paved my own way. You tell me to go left, I'm gonna go right.
You and La Calma are no longer with that label, but the song Échame la Culpa, that's with the BMG, right?
Yes, that's what.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what I was told from Leo about the video, when you guys did the video, it was so much fun. But it was work, but you guys were having fun. I asked him, can you give me a cool story about something behind the scenes? He said, dude, it was all fun. We had pizza, we had wings, alcohol, a little bit.
So, hey, they had girls in bikinis. What else could the guys ask for? Come on now.
Yeah. And I said, so you don't have anything else? He didn't spill the beans.
There was nothing really like crazy or bad, I guess.
Nobody got pushed in the pool or anything like that?
Not really. Like everyone was super cool, and the girls were like, our daughter jumped in right away. She was in the video, and some of the other girls like were jumping off they have kind of had like a slide.
It's a great video.
It came out amazing, and it was all Gabriel's vision. Gabriel, this was his he had like everything worked out. He had a timeline. He had it all like kind of like on a board, like everything that we were doing, all the shots, everything he wanted to see, and he took care of like all the production and everything. Like he knew how he wanted the lights, and it was just amazing. It came out like fantastic. It's probably one of my favorite videos.
I would imagine you guys are having a blast. Now, he did tell me the story about the next day he came up with this song at a Christmas party, and the next day I said, yes, I'll do it with you.
Yeah, well, I think he asked the people at the label, and for some reason they just kind of kept dragging their feet on it. I don't know if they didn't think it was going to be a hit, or if they just didn't see the vision of the song. But, regardless, we were like one way or the other with or without their support, we're going to do this.
What he told me when he was here on the podcast, the live version took off first.
Yeah, it did.
That's very cool.
We performed, it's called, I think it's Austin, it's kind of like Austin City Limits, but it's their indoor event kind of like it's a really cool little spot in Austin, and they invited us to go perform there, for me to showcase there. And then I asked Leo, I'm like, hey, you want to come and we'll just do Échame la Culpa and see, just see how the people there react to it. And we did, and it was, the people that were there freaked out. And Austin is kind of a different crowd. I think they're a little bit more, acceptable, like accepting, I guess is what I'd say, to different styles and different sounds. And we had people that were, because it was like a venue that the doors kind of opened to the street, and people walking down the street could actually just listen to the music. They could stop and listen and look in. And we had people just lined up outside. So someone posted it online, and then from there, like the views were just like through the roof. And we were like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So I think that kind of helped the label to really like know that it was a bona fide hit, that people were gonna, it was a hit anyway with Demi Lovato and Luis Fonsi.
And the producer, your husband.
And yes, I think it came, we just made it another hit in another, in another genre.
I think it's great.
Thank you.
Okay, listen, I know you got to go. Let's talk about what's coming up in the future. First of all, this pandemic has got everybody freaking out with everything. Now, when I talked to you a while back on the phone, you had a baseball bat with barbed wire?
Yeah, Lucille. Yeah.
Wait, Lucille?
Because that's what they call her on The Walking Dead. There's a guy, Keegan, on there, and he has a baseball bat that is wrapped with barbed wire. So she's called Lucille. So I had to get myself a Lucille.
Does Gabriel still have the machete?
He does, right by our bed. Mm-hmm. Yep. Just in case. You never know. Zombies might come. We never thought that a pandemic like this was going to happen. So he's like, hey, the next thing, he's like, seriously, it's going to be zombies. I know it. So he's prepared.
So how does it feel not being able to gig, not being able to see your fans, not being able to do what you love the most?
Yeah, it's one of the most heartbreaking things that I think, any artist could go through, because I don't think we would ever choose not to do what we love the most. And for me, that's singing live. I love to sing live. That is where I feel the most comfortable and the most at ease and the strongest. I feel like vocally, that's where I can shine, and that's where I don't hold back. And, studio for me is like, that's probably my least favorite, part of what I do. And only because, I'm a very expressive person. I love, like I said, I love to dance. I love to put on a show. I love to interact with my fans. And studio, it's kind of like, okay, you just kind of sing and that's that. But live this has been the part that has, really affected me the most. And I feel like I didn't know it or really like understand, but I feel like I went through a depression like right at the beginning of all of when we started quarantining, and we had to be home. And it was like, not that I'm like a party animal and I don't go out all the time, but I just being around people, I love that. I love to, I'm a hugger. I'm a toucher. That's just me. That's how I've always been. My family's very loving, and we show affection towards one another. We hug each other a lot. We tell each other we love each other a lot. And, I really kind of fell into like a weird place right at the beginning. And so we felt like we needed to do something. And so we started doing like a Monday night, I called it my quarantini performances. Cool, and that was my way of still interacting with my fans and getting to, spend some time with them. It was about an hour show, and Gabe and I would do songs that maybe I hadn't done in many years. We had our kids on there with us, and we did it for 10 weeks. And I think that was my therapy. Yeah. But it has been tough.
A lot of artists say when I play or when I perform, that's therapy for me. It is. Now, during my podcast, I ask questions, and sometimes they're personal. So what I tell my guests, look, if there's something that I ask, you don't want to answer, you say, I don't want to do that, and I don't want you to feel uncomfortable, okay? Talking about this pandemic, what do you feel, or how do you feel about these protests?
I think people always, you should speak up for what you believe in. I don't agree with, having that many people get together, especially right now. And I just think it's dangerous, and if we're not allowed to go to church, if we're not allowed to go out and, go hang out with our friends or our family. I think, like the protesting part of it, as far as gathering in big numbers, I just feel like, I don't think that that's something that we should be doing right now. I'm not saying people shouldn't speak out on what they believe in, but I just, I think it's a dangerous time right now. And I feel like, you never know how this thing is going to play out in the end. And I just see every day we're losing people on Facebook. That's the only way I keep in touch with people now is really through Facebook or through text. But every day, and we don't keep in touch with, people, on a daily basis. So Facebook has kind of become that connection to the entire world. It bothers me a little bit just because I feel like it puts a lot of people in danger as far as gathering with that many people.
Let me ask a question about racial equality. Black Lives Matter.
It's hard for me to kind of talk about that. I feel like every life matters. There's injustice in every race. And it's just, I don't think that race should matter. I don't think that it should be a black thing or a white thing or a Hispanic thing. It's a we thing. And I think that we just all need to, support one another and really just, we're brothers and sisters. We just love one another. There's so much hate and so much negativity. We need to show one another respect and love and compassion. And I think that it shouldn't be a color thing. It shouldn't be a race thing. It should just be, you're my brother, you're my sister. Let's love one another. Let's raise each other up and let's be there for one another, especially in this time.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said it's a we thing. It's a we thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's so sad. And I wish there was more positivity in
sure. Life. I'm all about positivity. All about positivity. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. But before we wrap it up, any new material coming up?
Oh, yeah. Lots of that coming up.
What's that now?
I said lots of that coming up. It's nice living with the Tejano award-winning, Grammy-winning producer. But with that comes, he's working on a lot of other projects as well. And so I kind of have to take a number.
Are you serious?
I do, because he's like in demand. Like there's a lot of projects, and I feel bad. Like I don't want to kill his groove. I don't want to make him stop. And sometimes I'm like, so when is my music gonna come out? But no, we have some stuff that we work on music all the time, and we do have some stuff that's kind of like been sitting there and that we kind of start and then we'll kind of move on to something else. But new music is definitely coming soon. A lot of surprises, a lot of fun stuff that's going to be coming out soon. So We're just waiting for the right moment.
All right. Well, listen, we're going to have some fun real quick. Some questions.
Okay.
Kind of like the Nudie game.
I remember that game. I used to love it.
Yes. So here we go. You ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay. What did he wear on the first date?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know if there was like a first date. He used to really like to wear like colored pants. Like the first time I met him, I think he was wearing like forest green pants. Remember like those Z Cavaricis and all that stuff?
Oh yeah. Okay.
But maybe something like that.
Who is their embarrassing crush?
Oh gosh, who does Gabriel love? He loves Lucy from Scooby-Doo, the Scooby-Doo movie. Like he loves her. So I don't know her name.
You know who I love? This is my celebrity crush. You remember the girl from Good Will Hunting? Minnie Driver. Oh my God.
Yeah, she's gorgeous though.
I know, right?
She's so pretty. Yeah.
Here we go. Who is the better kisser?
He's a pretty darn good kisser, so I'd probably say him.
Okay. What's his worst quirk?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. He's not quirky at all. He loves to cook.
That was going to be my next question. Who's a better cook?
Yeah, he's definitely, I'm a decent cook, but I'm more like by the book. I'm like, okay, I'm making enchiladas. And this one will go into the refrigerator and pull out stuff that like does not go together. And he'll make like something heavenly. And I'm like, what the? There was like nothing to eat. Like there was nothing in there, and he'll make something. And I'm just like, holy crap, that was amazing.
Last but not least, finally, who is the tidiest?
The tidiest? Probably me. Because I'm constantly cleaning up. I hate clutter. I hate anything to be dirty. I'm like always like picking stuff. I'm like, y'all left something there. Y'all, whose is this? I'm like, so yeah. You wouldn't want to come to my house right now though, because we just moved and there's like boxes everywhere still. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting anxiety. I'm like, we have to get this stuff out of here. Let's put it away.
Yeah, that happens to me. That happens to me as well. Listen, Stephanie, I want to thank you for being my first in the Zoom. I loved it.
I'm your Zoomy first.
Yes.
Hey, remember that song? All I want to do is zoom, 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 and boom, boom.
Yeah.
I used to love
Shake
that.
her up. Shake her up. You know, I don't know if you know this or not. You talk about that kind of music. I was doing top 40 at the time. In my business, they nicknamed me ACMF Cruz, right? And you know what the M is for, but that was given to me by Sir Mix-a-Lot.
No way.
Yeah, he came by the station. We did an interview real quick. And I said, dude, that was fun. Can you do some drops in the studio? Some drops meaning, hey, this is Sir Mix-a-Lot. You listen to B104. Hey, this is Sir Mix-a-Lot. You listen to AC Cruz. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when it came to me, because he had fun with the interview, he said, boom, this is Sir Mix-a-Lot. And you're jamming to my boy AC motherfucking Cruz on B104. I said, dude, I can't use that, man. We can't use that. He said, just bleep it out.
That's so cool.
No, long story longer, the name stuck. And maybe a good friend of yours, Carmita Cedillo. You know, Carmita.
I love her.
No, but check it out. She would send me packages to the radio station. It would say ACMF Cruz.
Yes, she was like my road dog. She took me everywhere. I was like, oh, she was the one that was on, like, taking me down, like, to the valley all the time. She went with us to, like, Chicago. So, yeah.
She called me about 3 weeks ago. She says, AC, I just got back on Facebook, and everything you post is hilarious.
She's so sweet, isn't she? Oh, my gosh.
The Wild Child, or La Mafia gave her that name, Wild Child, or Wild Thing, because she tossed him back one time. No, but anyway, Steph, it's great talking to you. Continued success.
Thank you. And I wish you all the best on, keep up the great work. You are amazing. And I know, like I said, when I said it earlier, I meant it when, everyone knows who AC Cruz is. And so I just, I'm appreciative that you invited me to be your first on your Zoom.
Yeah.
Congratulations, and keep up the amazing work, my friend.
Thank you so much. By the way, do not tell Gabe any of the answers, okay?
Okay, I won't.
Promise.
I promise.
Pinky swear. Take care. Much love.
You too. Love ya. Bye.
Oh boy, that was fun, wasn't it? Thank you so much, Stephanie. Next up, Gabriel Zavala. Well, not really next up, but he'll be coming on the podcast in a few episodes. So, want to thank the voice girl, Jackie Lynn, Romeo from TejanoNation.net, and more importantly, you, the subscribers, the listeners. If you like the podcast, tell your friends, and if your friends don't like it, find new friends. So just chill till the next episode of Cruise Control with AC Cruz behind the mic.